Governor, what are your top priorities that you would like to see the legislature take on with this funding?
Well, workforce, number one, infrastructure, number two, and then a broad set of things can help improve the efficiency of government, delivery of services. But I'd say the other piece, big announcement today, was also the proposal to do a $500 per tax filer tax credit for this year, 2021, and also again in 2022. Because we think it'd be really smart to get some money back into the hands of the hardworking North Dakotans.
And of those proposals that you laid out, the three main ones, how much of that money would you say goes toward COVID recovery for the economy versus new investments?
Well, it's almost all entirely new. I mean, one of the great things about the state of North Dakota, both last year when we had the $1.25 billion of CARES Act money, or this time when we're talking about nearly just over $1 billion, $1.1 billion for capital projects, and for the ARPA, the American Relief Plan dollars. Less than 15% of that is going towards things related to the healthcare. Other states are spending 100% of it in that way, but we've been able to get through this in a way where we can invest in diversifying the economy, we can invest in growth, we can invest in infrastructure, all things that are going to help us moving forward as a state.
Gotcha. And lastly, you mentioned ongoing discussions with legislative leaders regarding their 4 days left that they have to deal with this and redistricting. Do you expect to need to call a special session, or how do you plan to work with lawmakers to get this plan through?
Well, we've had I think, a very productive and open dialogue with the legislature. They obviously have a duty that they have to fulfill, which is the redistricting before the end of the year. And they've got 4 days that they've reserved, so they can reconvene at any time. They've discussed coming back on November 8th to do that redistricting work, and we're still in a dialogue on whether or not, in conjunction with coming back, whether or not there would be a opportunity to appropriate some of these, the $697 million of unappropriated federal funds and the $400 million of the excess ending fund balance, that we could also make some investments to really help move and to do that both at the same time in November. Why that would be helpful would be that in some cases, case of infrastructure, getting those dollars appropriated in November would allow us to do bidding this winter and be able to participate in the 2022 construction season. And of course, the thing that I'm very worried about is inflation, and just keeping these dollars here and leaving them in the checking account literally at the Bank of North Dakota, earning 0.07%, when we could invest those dollars in the state and with matches with the private sector, spend a dollar, get a dollar from the private sector, that's 100% return versus almost no return. And if we leave the money in the checking account for the next year or two and don't spend it and think that that's being conservative, we're going to end up with $1 billion that's worth $900 million or $800 million, because inflation will just have a corrosive effect, and it'll reduce the ability for us to spend those dollars, particularly when we look at the potential for inflation in construction areas.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Governor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.